About Last Night by Darth Link 22. Read by Goombasa. Chapter 1. A Cautionary Tale. The farmhouse frequently saw several large crowds. The Apple family was a close bunch, after all, so large dinners were common. Still, this particular group was an uncommon sight for this location. Usually, if the bearers of the elements of harmony wanted to meet, they'd pick Sugar Cube Corner or the Golden Oaks Library as their base of operations. But today they were all here, with Big Macintosh with them, all at Applejack's invitation, though at the moment none of them were quite sure why. Applejack stood before them, looking as giddy as a school filly. Next to her was something covered with a white sheet. Pinky's attempts at uncovering it had resulted in several smacked hooves until she gave up, sitting with her forelegs folded in a pouting position. "Well, Applejack, I hope this is important. Telling us all to not have anything planned for tomorrow, making me send my little sister off to that slumber party at Scootaloo's house."
"Scootaloo has a house?"
Rainbow Dash asked. "Yeah, I wanted to thank you all for coming," Applejack said. "Truth be told, this here's something I've been wanting to do ever since y'all helped me chase them varmints Flim and Flam off."
"Oh, you mean like a thank you present to us? Oh, is it wrapped in colorful paper? It's not a present unless—"
"Simmer down, it ain't quite like that. See, y'all came through for me when I needed ya. I've always called you my family, but that was one time you really proved it. And because of that, I wanted to get you involved with an Apple family tradition." With that, she grabbed the sheet next to her and tore it off, revealing
"Cider!"
Rainbow Dash exclaimed happily. Indeed, several barrels of the Apple family's quality brew was sitting in neat stacks. "Fermented cider," Applejack explained. "We always save a few barrels full personally for the family to let it age. It's ready for some real drinking."
"Aw, yeah, let's get to it,"
the Cyan Pegasus exclaimed, practically drooling at the thought. "Actual alcohol? I've never had that before," Twilight said, sounding intrigued.
"What?"
Rainbow Dash asked, shocked.
"Twilight, you're a grad student."
Twilight blushed a little, rubbing the back of her head with her hoof. "Well, I was always curious about it, but I had Spike to take care of. It's kind of bad parenting if you come home completely drunk."
"Oh, you've got to try some. I'm willing to bet you'll be the silliest,"
Pinky chirped, causing Twilight to redden further. "That's why I had the Foals and Spikes sent to that sleepover. They're going to be busy till tomorrow afternoon, so they won't see us at our worst." "I suppose I could have a glass or two," Rarity conceded. "But not too much. I am a lady. I do not get inebriated." If it means that much to you." The party was just starting, with each of the guests talking amongst themselves. Twilight sipped her cider slowly, recoiling a bit at the taste. Applejack, looking at her, couldn't help but smirk. "Really is your first time drinking, eh, Sugar Cube?" The lavender unicorn felt herself blushing. "Is it that obvious?" "You just haven't acquired the taste just yet," the cowpony noted. "Ain't nothing to be ashamed of. I understand why you haven't had much experience. Truth be told, I don't get too much of a chance to drink either. What with me and Big Mac having to take care of Apple Bloom." "You mean Big Mac and I," Twilight corrected. "Don't bring your fancy grammar into this," Applejack answered playfully, taking a drink. "I can't help it. That's just how I was raised." "Well, then you need more cider. Go on, chug that thing." "But it tastes all weird." "That's why you gotta drink it real fast, so your tongue don't taste it. Go on, one big gulp." Twilight looked at the mug. "Just one gulp, Twilight. Come on." She put the mug to her lips and tilted her head back, allowing the nasty liquid to leap past her tongue and down her throat. She gave a bit of a cough, but most of the gulp made it down her throat. Drops rolled down her chin, soaking her coat. "You see? Just like that." "My throat's burning," Twilight complained. "Why am I drinking this again?" "You need to wait a while for the effects to kick in," the cowpony assured. "Till then, how about another drink? Not waiting for an answer, she took the mug and poured another. "Thanks, Applejack," the unicorn said politely. "You know, you don't have to hang around me all night. You can look after the others." "Oh, they're all big fillies. They can take care of themselves," the Earth Pony dismissed. "I just want to spend time with you." Twilight played with her mug a moment, swishing the liquid around a bit. "Applejack, you aren't all still feeling bad about what happened at the wedding, are you?" Applejack's eyes widened. She puckered her lips inward as her pupils rolled back, giving the farmer a good view of the ceiling. "I can't imagine where you'd get that impression." A magic glow surrounded her cheeks and forced her to look at her friend. "First off, never make that face again. The last thing I need is a flashback to the Discord incident. Secondly, I got the idea because all of you are letting me get away with absolutely everything." "What do you mean?" "You know, I think Temple of Nightmare Moon was the best Daring Do book." Rainbow Dash's eye twitched. It grows on you." "Twi, that doesn't prove—" "Well, Rarity, here's the dress I want," Twilight said pleasantly, giving her friend a sketch. The white unicorn took the drawing and scanned it over. Immediately, her eyes widened, her irises shrinking. "This? I mean, I know, the black leather really shows off my curves. And aren't the crochet stockings a nice touch? I'm going to wear it to Celestia's next party, and I'll make sure every pony knows you designed it. Won't that be great?" Rarity gave a smile to show that it wouldn't be great. "Oh, yes," she lied through her teeth. "You didn't." "Of course not. I called it off immediately. I wouldn't ruin Rarity or embarrass the princess like that. But the point is, you all have been doing whatever I wanted. It's getting annoying." Applejack sighed. "Look, it's just, we blew you off. You had to face that big bug alone. We couldn't just let it go. You've been such a good friend, and we felt like mud when the whole thing came out." "Let's not get into that again," Twilight groaned. "You guys apologized enough. It got annoying, to be honest," she said, trying to joke. Applejack hung her head, raising it only to take a drink. "Look," she said, when the liquid had been swallowed, I pride myself on always being a dependable pony. Ever since I met you and became a bearer, you always stayed by my side. You've been a great friend, Twi. One of the best I ever had. I never want anything to get in the way of that." Twilight blushed. Wow, she said quietly. "Applejack, you never have to worry about that. I love all you girls. We'll all be together. Nothing is going to change that." "Yes, it will," the Earth Pony answered bluntly. "Don't be a fool, Twi. That ain't you. Dash is gonna be a wonderbolt, Rarity's gonna open up a boutique in every major city from here to Philadelphia, and you're gonna go back to Canterlot and be a great royal figure. You'll go off and forget all about Ponyville. And me. I'll be stuck on this farm till I'm as old as Granny Smith." Twilight felt her heart sink as she looked at her friend, who had chosen that moment to take another firm gulp. "I won't forget you. Ever. And besides, what makes you think you're never leaving the farm?" "Twi, I told you how I got my cutie mark. I tried going to Manhattan and being a big city pony. I didn't fit in. It ain't for me. I don't fit in there. But that's where you're heading. You're going, and I can't follow." "Applejack," Twilight said, a little stunned. Forget I said anything," the Earth Pony said quickly. "At least for tonight. This is a happy occasion." Twilight looked at her for a moment, finally nodding slowly. "Okay, but you're not getting off the hook that easily. We'll talk about it tomorrow." Rarity's slow and diligent sipping of her mug was interrupted by Pinky jumping up seemingly from under the table. "Hey, Rarity!" The white unicorn gave a shriek, nearly spilling her cider. "Ah! Pinky! Don't do that!" "Rarity, come on! It's funnel time!" she said happily, producing a funnel with a long plastic hose. "No, Pinky. There is no way I would ever participate in something so crude.
Applejack says you enjoyed pillow fighting, the Earth Pony protested.
I did not, Rarity objected. I simply let my temper get the best of me. Happens to the best of us.
Please do the funnel.
No.
I'll be your best friend.
Pinky, you're already one of my best friends, the unicorn sighed.
Then do it, please.
Pinky's eyes grew 3 times their normal size, her lip quivering. Rarity held her firm composure for another few seconds, then sighed. You never speak of this again, you hear me?
Pinky promise,
she exclaimed. She quickly went through the gestures, then rather abruptly stuck a funnel into Rarity's mouth. The white unicorn gave an unladylike grunt before sighing. She resigned herself to the inevitable onslaught. That is, until she saw that Pinky was holding the funnel just under the tap.
But...
It was too late. Pinky pressed the tap, and seconds later, the liquid flowed freely into the unicorn's mouth. 10 gulps later, the tap turned off, allowing Rarity to breathe again.
Pinky!
Rarity screeched.
That was ill-mannered, uncalled for, and...
Suddenly, the purple-maned pony was a lot more mellow. I must say, this is pleasant. Rainbow Dash gulped down her 3rd mug, slamming it down onto the hardwood table. Wiping her mouth, she glanced over at Fluttershy, who was finishing up a mug as well. The Cyan Pegasus looked over at her friend's side to see 5 other mugs stacked up at her side.
Are the others dumping their mugs on you? She asked a little slurred. 'Cause I could tell them to cut it out.
Oh, no. I actually drank all of those. The athletic Pegasus was a bit stunned by the admission.
But I'm only on my 3rd cup.
Yes, well, I'm sorry, but, well, you're kind of a lightweight.
What?
Rainbow Dash demanded.
All right, no pony calls me that and gets away with it. I challenge you to a drinking contest.
Fluttershy meeped and covered her mouth with her hooves.
Oh, no, I don't think that's a good idea. Well, then you shouldn't have challenged me,
her friend said, grabbing her and dragging her over to the cask. She poured them 2 fresh mugs.
First one to pass out loses.
No, Rainbow, please. Rainbow Dash lifted her mug. Sighing, Fluttershy did the same. After a half-hearted toast, the pair gulped their drinks down. Feeling all right, Sugar Cube? By now, Twilight was moving back and forth a bit, but she looked happy. I'm fine, Applejack, really. After the first 2 glasses, they're easier to swallow. That's because you're too drunk to taste it, the blonde slurred, though she wasn't one to talk at the moment. Let me tell you, being drunk, it's pretty awesome, Twilight said happily. I think I'm actually thinking more clearly than ever. Of course Celestia's not going to send me back to Magic Kindergarten for failing an assignment. That is just ridiculous. Well, alcohol does tend to make you stop worrying, but you still shouldn't be doing too much thinking about anything. You'll realize it's a bad idea once you're sober. Or will I just think it's a bad idea because I'm worrying again? The first one. Now maybe we better cut y'all off. Rainbow Dash gulped down her 20th mug.
Why don't you just give up?
She asked. She was having trouble staying up at this point. Fluttershy gulped down her 20th mug. I'm still feeling okay, she explained, though by now she was a little tipsy herself. We can stop if you want.
Never,
she responded, holding up her mug to pour another. Rainbow, the mug is upside down. Indeed, the Pegasus saw that her precious cider was spilling to the floor. She quickly righted it.
Not a word.
I mean, honestly, all I wanted was to meet a charming and handsome prince, marry him, and live a life of rich luxury. Honestly, is that so much to ask? Yup, Big Macintosh answered flatly.
No way. The ponies at the gala were just a bunch of ultra meanie pants. Pinky backed her friend up. Exactly, Rarity exclaimed, slamming the table. That so-called prince was the most unprincely beast that has ever slid into my life, and I am not the only one he's hurt. Pinky tilted her head anxiously. What do you mean? I talked to some of the mayors around Canterlot while we were still there for the wedding. Apparently Prince Charmless has bedded as many mayors as you've thrown parties. Pinky gave an exaggerated gasp. No! Yes! The white unicorn wailed. Ponies wanted to shake my hoof for giving him what for at the gala. He lured mayors in, then leaves them as soon as he loves them. That's horrible! Pinky exclaimed. You're right. It's horrible, and I'm going to do something about it, she declared boldly, standing up. Almost immediately, she had to sit back down due to all she had to drink.
Miss Rarity, maybe you shouldn't be going anywhere tonight,
Big Macintosh suggested calmly, placing a hoof on her shoulder. No, she said abruptly, batting him away. This fine beverage has truly earned the name Liquid Courage, for it has given me the strength to do what needs to be done. With that, she stood again and began running, with the stallion attempting to follow.
No, this is a bad idea,
he pleaded.
Please, Miss Rarity, just take it easy.
Hi-ya! Pinky exclaimed, suddenly flying towards the eldest apple child. Her back right leg hit him in the cheek. With a loud oomph, the stallion crashed to the ground. You go, girl! Hurry before you're sober enough to realize what a mistake you're making! Rarity stumbled out of the farmhouse and lit up her horn. In a flash, she was gone. Dash gulped down her 30th mug. She mumbled something in drunk talk, which loosely translated to, How did you build up such a tolerance? Fluttershy looked away sadly. I'd rather not talk about it, she said quietly. By now her words were slurred as well, though still coherent to those that listened closely. Her friend actually stopped. She knew that tone. Fluttershy was upset. Hey, what's wrong? She asked gently, forgetting about the contest. She placed a hoof on Fluttershy's shoulder. You can tell me anything, you know that. The shy Pegasus just turned away meekly, giving a bit of a frightened squeak. Rainbow Dash pulled her into a hug. Fluttershy, we've been friends for a long time. You can talk to me about anything. Fluttershy was quiet for a moment. Can we go somewhere else? I don't want to bring the others into this. Rainbow Dash nodded and lifted herself up. She did a quick scan of the room. Applejack was huddled deep into conversation with Twilight, and Pinky seemed to be tying down Big Mac, who was struggling to reach the front door. I don't think the others would mind if we go off of them for a while. I love you, Applejack, Twilight giggled affectionately, nuzzling her friend. You're a great friend. Never forget that. Gosh, you sure are lovin' when you're drunk, Twi, the Earth Pony said with a blush and a nuzzle. Well, I can't help thinking about what you said earlier tonight. Getting this drunk has given me a great idea. You know, I think I said something earlier about drunk ideas. Never mind, it was probably stupid drunk talk. What's your idea? Filly Applejack happily trotted into the farmhouse. She had just completed all her chores, and now her parents were going to reward her with a special treat. You did a great job, my little apple, the matriarch cooed. I think you deserve a treat. With that, the mayor handed her a reward. Popsicle! The little filly squealed happily. She took the frozen purple treat and began licking it. She savored the taste. Twilight's ear twitched as she smiled happily. She moaned in pleasure. She turned her head, and something pressed against her lips. It felt good. She opened her eyes. She found a pair of emeralds staring back at her. Both sets of eyes widened. What came out of both Applejack and Twilight was a surprised and terrified yell that was likely heard all the way to Canterlot. Both mares fell out of the opposite sides of Twilight's bed.
How? What?
Twilight stammered.
Oh no. No.
Applejack moaned.
We came to my place. Did Spike see me drunk? No, he was at the slumber party.
The unicorn breathed a sigh of relief.
But who else could have seen us on our way here?
Applejack panicked.
Oh, Granny Smith would have a heart attack if I did something improper. And we could have...
Her eyes widened in horror.
Oh, man, my parents are going to kill me,
Twilight moaned in anguish.
And Shiny, and the princess, how is she going to...
At that point, she noticed something. Applejack was still frozen in place, her eyes wide and her jaw slack.
Applejack? Hello? Is that a gold ring on your horn?
She asked slowly, pointing a hoof to her friend. Twilight didn't answer. She just widened her eyes and lowered her jaw, gaping at the earth pony. Finally, she spoke.
Is that a gold band on your hoof?
Applejack looked down and froze in terror as she saw the metallic band across the foreleg she was using to point with. Both ponies looked into each other's eyes with shock and horror.
We didn't,
Applejack said in absolute disbelief.
We couldn't,
Twilight assured, more to herself than to her friend. The two of them quickly looked around the room. It was Twilight who saw it first. A scroll sitting on her nightstand, marked with the equestrian royal seal. Slowly, as if the parchment had been booby-trapped, she levitated it towards them. With great reluctance, she unfurled it, allowing both ponies to read. This document hereby binds the ponies known as Twilight Sparkle and Applejack in a state of matrimony on the date of... They didn't read any further. They just looked at each other.
Oh, hey.
To be continued.